Good morning, everyone. I'm the District 4 County Council member, Kate Stewart. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm just glad that we could all come together today to mark International Pronoun Day. We have a wonderful array of people who have joined us today, and we don't have time for everyone to speak, though I would love that. I would like everyone to introduce themselves so everyone understands the diversity and the range of people who we have in our community who are working to create a more inclusive community. And so I'm just so thrilled everyone was able to come out today. So I'm going to start over here. If you just want to introduce yourself quickly, your name, pronouns, and if you're representing a group.
Hi, Rabbi Abby Shorofsky. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm representing the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington.
Olushina Adebayo, he, him, his. I'm representing Rainbow Place Shelter.
Gianna Gronowski, they, she, and I'm representing myself.
I'm SB, I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a Silver Spring resident.
John Williams, I use he and him, and I'm here representing my kiddos and my family.
Kristen Mink, she, her, hers, I represent District 5.
Lee Blinder, I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the Executive Director of Trans Maryland. I'm also the Policy Chair for the Maryland Commission on LGBTQI+ Affairs, and a co-chair for the Coalition for Inclusive Schools and Communities.
I'm Philip Alexander Downey. I'm the Executive Director for Living Your Truth, and I am also one of the co-chairs for the Coalition of Inclusive Schools and Communities.
I'm Amina Johnson. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the LGBTQ liaison here in Montgomery County.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Ali Casey Bell. I am the Minister for Congregational Life at Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My pronouns are he, they, or you can call me Reverend Ali. I'm representing Cedar Lane, and I am also a co-chair for the Coalition for Inclusive Schools and Communities.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Eckstein, and I'm here as an MCPS pronoun, MCPS parent, and my pronouns are he, him.
That made it easy. My name is Jan Gutman. I'm with the MoCo Pride Center on the board of directors. I'm also on the committee for the MoCo Pride Prom, and we have started a pop-up called Regenerations for MoCo Pride Center.
I am Melvin Cawthon, he, him pronouns. I am the administrator of the county's Sexual Health and Wellness Program.
And I'm Emily Brown, she, her pronouns. I am the Ending the HIV Epidemic Program Manager here in Sexual Health and Wellness Services at the county as well.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. So, what is International Pronoun Day? Well, in languages all over the world, we use pronouns to refer to people. And lots of times, those pronouns have gender implied in them. But we know that that isn't always accurate or respectful of people's true lives. And we also know that we make a lot of assumptions in this world on how people dress and their names, and that those assumptions can be hurtful and harmful. And what we want to do is create a community that is respectful and that we know each and every person can live with dignity. And so recognizing and ensuring that we are calling people by their correct pronouns is one way that we can do that. So International Pronoun Day was started in 2018, and it was started to do just that, educate people about the importance of asking, respecting, and practicing using people's correct pronouns. And so that's why today we are all here, and we want to provide people with the tools to do that. And so in addition to the proclamation, we have a great handout here that talks about asking, respecting, and practicing people's pronouns. We also have some buttons that you can take with you today to show your pronoun, because really what we're working towards is making this a standard practice. And I want to take a moment because each of us brings so many of different identities to the work we do. And another identity that I have is as a mom. And I want to just say that for our young people in our communities, particularly our trans and gender non-conforming young people, truly seeing them for who they are is so important. And using the correct pronouns, the ones that they choose, even if that changes daily, is so important for all of us to truly see our young people in our communities. And so, again, today is a day to really think about that, and also to think about the fact when we use the wrong pronouns, it really impacts our trans and gender nonconforming people in our communities. And right now, those folks in our community are dealing with an awful lot here in Montgomery County and in the country overall. And if each of us in our daily lives can do one thing like this, use the correct pronoun to make it a little easier during these tough times, I think each of us can commit to doing that. So I want to thank you all for coming today, and this is really life affirming to see each and every one of the people who are up here today coming out and spending time with us to celebrate International Pronoun Day. And I'm going to turn it over to our council president now, Evan Glass.
My name is Evan, he, him, his, and I want to thank Councilmember Stewart for allowing us to celebrate International Pronouns Day here at the council, because this is all about making sure that every single person is seen and respected in our community. There are a lot of things going on around the world, but we want to make sure that everybody here in our beautifully diverse community is celebrated for who they are and who they aspire to be. And that's really what this is all about. And as a member of the council's rainbow families, with Councilmember Stewart and Councilmember Mink and the love and support of all of our colleagues, we are going to continue making sure that our inclusion and diversity are celebrated and protected here in Montgomery County. And we can turn it over to Councilmember Mink, or I'm sorry. Oh, okay, got it. Very good.
Terrific. All right. So I would love for everyone to be able to speak today, but we have a long agenda and the council president would get very angry at me. So we have a number of people who offered to say a few words. First, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Amita Johnson, our LGBTQ plus liaison for Montgomery County.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Stewart, and the entire council for acknowledging International Pronouns Day today. Earlier this month, we released the first ever LGBTQ survey in Montgomery County, and one of the most striking statistics from that survey for me was that 44.9, almost 45% of respondents said that they had been discriminated against in the county, and nearly 24% of those folks said it was in a public place. And I think that on International Pronouns Day, it's really important to know that the best thing that you can do to respect people in private, but definitely in public, is to acknowledge their pronouns. And so I just want to thank you all for acknowledging everyone's pronouns today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. And if you haven't checked out that report that just came out last week, I really highly suggest it so that we all are working towards ensuring we have an inclusive community for our LGBTQ plus residents. And one of the things also in that survey, when asked in an open-ended question what we could do here in Montgomery County to make sure we were a safe and inclusive community for our LGBTQ plus residents, one of the things they talked about was talking about being inclusive and using people's pronouns. So I think that's great that we're all here today. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Lee Blinder, who wears many, many hats in our community. And Lee, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much, Councilmember Stewart, and all of our council members and everybody here in attendance to celebrate International Pronouns Day. International Pronouns Day was started by a dear friend of mine and colleague in this work, Shige Sakurai. They have done an incredible amount of work in advocacy for non-binary people and around pronouns and making sure that our communities can be as inclusive as possible. As mentioned before, I do wear several hats. I'm the executive director of Trans Maryland, and we are a multiracial, multigender community power building organization for Maryland's trans communities. I'm a Montgomery County born and raised person. I was technically born in DC, but came right back. There wasn't actually a hospital that did birthing in the 80s in Montgomery County. So Montgomery County is an incredible place to live. And we still have, as mentioned before, a lot of opportunities in order to continue to uplift all of our diverse and intersectional communities. In part of that goal, my work with the Coalition for Inclusive Schools and Communities has yielded a lot of conversations, both with our young people and our faculty who are working in the schools, as well as our families who have folks in the school system. And what that's shown us is that, when our young people are in the school system, sometimes that's all we talk about. But when our faculty members are not being correctly pronounced or being disrespected based on their identities, our young folks see their future, their professional future. So when we're thinking about, all of these systems, sometimes pronouns are viewed as only for maybe younger people. I know I look young, I'm 41. So, I don't come from a time when we talked about pronouns, when we utilized those. And so it takes a lot of change. And just because I'm trans doesn't mean that when a friend of mine changes pronouns, I don't have to practice them. So those are some suggestions of practical applications that you can do. Just practice at home, find a buddy. It's a learning and growing process, and we're all going to be growing together, always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee. And next I want to introduce John Williams to speak about his experiences here in Montgomery County and as a parent. And I just want to first just publicly acknowledge and thank John, because when my family was starting on our journey, he was one of the people who was so instrumental in supporting, and that's what we need in our communities, is to support one another, as Lee says, as we're taking different journeys in our lives. So, John?
Good morning, everyone. My name is John Williams, and I use he, him pronouns. I live with my partner, who uses she and they pronouns, and we live with our 3 children in Silver Spring. Our oldest, M, uses they, she, and he pronouns, so the changing pretty regularly. And all of our kids are students in MCPS schools. As a transgender man and as the father of a non-binary trans fabulous child, I'm intimately familiar with why International Pronouns Day matters. To prepare for today, I asked a few MCPS trans students to share why using someone's correct pronouns really matters with them. And here's what the student shared with me. That when someone uses their correct pronouns, it shows that they respect me as a person, even when they're doing it without thinking about it. And another student shared, it feels like they have paid attention and care about me enough that they actively listen to who I am and what I need. Using pronouns correctly shows kindness, it shows care, and it shows respect, and that is something that every single person deserves. I want to take a second to thank the County Council for creating a place where that kindness, where that care, and that respect for me, for my family, for my kids' friends really, really matters. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'm going to invite my colleagues up, and we're going to read the proclamation. All right, I'm kicking us off. All right. This is the Montgomery County Council proclamation. Whereas International Pronouns Day began in 2018 and takes place on the 3rd Wednesday of October in order to make respecting, sharing, and educating about personal pronouns a standard practice. And
whereas just as we don't want to assume a person's ethnicity or race by appearance or name, It's important not to make assumptions about the gender identity of another person based on that person's appearance or name.
And whereas referring to people by the pronouns they determine for themselves is basic to human dignity, it not only shows that we recognize others for who they are, but it's also a sign of respect and courtesy. And
whereas being referred to by the wrong pronouns particularly affects transgender and gender nonconforming people, and
whereas we encourage elected officials and residents to consider how they can help normalize the practice of sharing pronouns, such as including them in correspondence. And
whereas Montgomery County takes pride in being a welcoming, caring, and diverse community that strives to uphold individuals' human right to dignity. Together, we can transform society to celebrate people's multiple intersecting identities. And
now therefore be it resolved that the County Council, Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes October 17th, 2023 as International Pronouns Day. Thank you, everyone.